Rugby is a considerably popular sport, though some might say it's a brutal activity with big hits and tackles. We mostly see rugby played by men, but in recent years, women's rugby has been growing massively. World Rugby has reported a 60% rise in participation in the women's game since 2013. But what I want to know is, why? I'm new to the world of rugby, and I want to find out more about why this is such a fast-growing sport. So I took a trip to the David Ross Sport Village at the University of Nottingham to talk to the officials from the University of Nottingham's women's rugby team. So what is the aspect that you enjoy most about rugby?
Apart from the fact that I love the game, probably like as a community, the culture is like a lot different from any sport I've ever done. Like I haven't been able to replicate it in any other sports that I've done and teams that I've joined. And I think like the idea that it's quite a small community, so you know people on all the teams and you can play against them, and in the game on the pitch you're like really aggressive, really competitive, really brutal against each other. And as soon as that final whistle blows, you're kind of your best pals again, and you're giving them a hug and congratulating them for that try. So it's a nice culture.
So why do you think women's rugby is such a fast-growing sport?
I think it took a while for people to take women's rugby seriously, because obviously, you know, it's a very aggressive sport. Like you have to be really physically fit, so people didn't really think that women could play that role. When England won in the World Cup in 2014, I think that was like a massive turning point, which then it started to kind of like, it was continuously kind of gaining followers and players. And then again, when they played in the 2017 World Cup, even though they didn't win, just the level of rugby at that point, because it was professional and everything, the level of rugby was really aspirational for girls to start joining.
A common theme throughout my research is that most women have never had the opportunity to play rugby before starting university. So I asked the head coach why this is, as well as what he enjoys about coaching women's rugby at the university.
The coachability of the players. A lot of these players that I'm lucky enough to coach, they haven't played in school, so they come in to me as a blank canvas. So they want to know all of the skills from that early that mostly boys have done growing up through school. So that's a good challenge for me as a coach to coach them the right techniques, and let's not get them into bad, unsafe habits so they can enjoy their rugby.
Although we find that the sport seems to be progressing, there are still some barriers that women face in rugby. So would you say that you've experienced any kind of favouritism in like the Bucks events or the Big Wednesday event?
Yeah, so in general, like just general matches, when it comes to pitch priorities and stuff like that, it always does go to the boys, which the boys, it is more serious for them and it's like at a high level, so it is understandable. But as I said before about the vicious cycle, if they're not taking us seriously and giving us priorities at times, then we can't take ourselves seriously. So it does, yeah, you do experience that. And with varsity as well, as much as it's the two varsity matches are played on the same day at the same stadium, but just the timings, it's a big social event, and the timings, the boys will play first in the afternoon, there'll be a massive crowd, and then it'll be a big social after, everyone will go and celebrate, and then because the women are after, there's no one to watch them, so it's like there are still crowds left of all the women's friends and stuff, but like not compared to just because people who aren't even friends with the rugby players will go and watch the boys ones, but it's just kind of friends and family for the women.
There is more to women's rugby than it seems. There is a rich social side to the team that is strengthened by each player's love for the sport and the sense of community it creates. As much as this sport is on the rise, things need to be altered, such as the perceptions of the public or any other counterproductive factors to equal opportunities. Hopefully, in 10 years' time, everyone will understand and appreciate women's rugby. It is clear to me that this can only be achieved in unison, using cooperative measures, acceptance and compassion from all aspects of the sport of rugby.